Since 2001, Charline von Heyl has made two radically different kinds of pictures. Her large, colorful paintings on canvas often begin with a regular pattern, like a piece of wallpaper or a bolt of fabric, which she disrupts by adding gestural marks or figurative images or clashing patterns. At the same time, she makes smaller, black and white works on paper, like the 36 individual pictures in Story of a Panic. These are also created by superimposing different marks and images. Sometimes the resulting pictures resemble her paintings. Sometimes they are strikingly different, incorporating photographic images and evoking three-dimensional space. Furthermore, the effect of seeing all 36 pictures in Story of a Panic installed in a grid is different from the effect of any one image. Von Heyl invites you to read the pictures in a sequence, or to look at all of them simultaneously. Von Heyl went to art school in Germany in the 1980s and 90s, an era when the German art world was divided between the neo-expressionists, based in Berlin, and the more intellectual group of painters, based in Hamburg. Many of the Hamburg group studied with Sigmar Polke, who had invented a new pictorial language inspired by American pop art. Andy Warhol and Robert Rauschenberg used silk screens to combine photographic imagery and painted marks in the same canvas. Polke went even further by superimposing radically different kinds of images and marks. In the U.S., the art world of the 1980s was largely divided between artists like Barbara Kruger, who used photography and text to make statements about social issues, and artists like Julian Schnabel, who used painterly brushwork to proclaim their individual genius. Progressive artists and critics saw painting as a reactionary medium. In contrast, in the German art world of these years, Polke demonstrated how painting could be both critical and painterly, opening up a path forward for younger artists like Albert Oehlen and Charline von Heyl. In a 2017 interview, von Heyl said, "When I started out, I wanted the paintings to basically torture people. What I want now is something that seduces more than it angers." You can see the tension between these goals in a canvas like Nunez, where the mutant surrealist blobs are painted with lyrical pinks and purples and with earthy browns and blacks. The graphic works in Story of a Panic seem to come out of a troubled place. Many of the individual compositions include heads or faces that have been intensively reworked, recalling the song from Shakespeare's Tempest. "Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange." Here, for instance, von Heyl seems to have begun with a photograph of a stone mask with a checkerboard scarf wrapped across its nose and mouth, and rows of sprockets growing from its cheek and brow. In another abstract head, a wavering, hand-drawn line encloses the dome of the cranium, while the face is suggested by something like an X-ray photograph, obscured by wood graining. In an earlier series of drawings, von Heyl borrowed images from old illustrations for the fairy tales collected by the Brothers Grimm, which are much scarier than their sanitized Disney versions. Story of a Panic draws on different source material, but it evokes a similar sense of enjoyable terror. You don't know exactly what's happening. You're scared and bewildered, but you can't stop looking.